All right, guys, so this is the first video of pharmacy math. We're going to look at fundamentals of pharmacy math. And in this video, we're going to start with Roman numerals and conversions using the metric system. So first, let's go under the section that says Roman numerals. And these are just the pages right out of your textbook. It says the Roman numeral system uses letters to represent numerical values as shown in table 6.1. So we're looking at this table down here. These 7 numerals are combined to form numbers. Numerals are always arranged from greatest to least in value, starting with the largest possible number. For example, the number 157 would be written as 100 plus 50 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1. And they give the Roman numeral equivalent here. And the number 3,621 is written as 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 500 plus 100 plus 10 plus 10 plus 1. And they give the Roman numeral equivalent here. So think of yourself as a cashier. If you were giving someone change at the register, or if you were taking someone's money, cash money at the register, you would have certain dollar bills that you have to work with. So you'd have $100 bills, $50 bills, 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s, right? And so any amount of money that you needed to come up with, you'd have to come up with that money using those particular bills. It's the same way here with Roman numerals. Any number that we want to construct as a Roman numeral-based number, we have to use these 7 Roman numerals. So what are the 7 Roman numerals? Well, they're in a chart here. We have I, V, X, L, C, D, and M. So just a couple of ways to help you to remember some of these Roman numerals. So I looks just like 1. So every time you see a tick mark that looks like an I, you can think of 1. V is 5. Now, how can you remember that V is 5? Look at the X. X is 10. What's half of 10? 5. What do you get? I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. What do you get when you take half of the X? You get a V. So just like half of 10 is 5, half of the X is V. Now let's talk about the C and the M for a second. How many years are in a century? $100 years. How many cents are in a dollar? 100 cents are in a dollar. Supposedly, how many feet are on a centipede? Well, literally, centipede means 100 feet, right? Pediatrician, or not pediatrician, podiatrist, pedestrian. Many words in our language come from these Latin roots. So centipede means 100 feet. Centi, that Latin root, means 100. So C, you can remember C represents 100. Or if you want to think about Russian, 100 is 100. All right, what about the M? Milli. Milli is the Latin root for 1,000. A millipede supposedly has 1,000 feet. In fact, when we get to the metric system, we'll see that milli means 1/1000th. So milli is 1,000. Now, unfortunately, for L and D, I've got nothing for you. You can come up with your own mnemonic device to help you to remember that L is 50 and D is 500. But these are our 7 Roman numerals. Now, before we practice, there's one more little note that we need to make on Roman numerals. Under the chart here, it says to avoid adding 4 of the same numeral in a row, subtraction is used. If a numeral with a smaller value is placed before a numeral with a larger value, the smaller number is subtracted from the bigger number. For example, the number 9 is written as ix. 10 minus 1 is 9. Since I has a value of 1 and is placed before x, which has a value of 10, the number is found by subtracting 1 from 10. So let's just break down that example for a second. What they're saying is that instead of writing 9 as 5 plus I, so that would be 5 and 4 ones, which is 9. Instead of writing 9 like that, to avoid writing 4 of the same numeral in a row, we can say, well, 9 is 1 less than the next number up. 9 is 1 less than 10. So since 9 is 1 less than 10, we can say 10 minus 1. When you want to subtract, you place the smaller number, the number that you're subtracting, behind the larger number. So remember we said earlier that we always arrange the numerals from greatest to least in value? That's the way we write Roman numerals, unless we want to subtract in order to avoid adding 4 of the same numeral in a row. So let's practice. Let's practice writing regular numbers as Roman numerals. And then let's go backwards. Let's go from Roman numerals to regular numbers. So we'll just do this here in the text. If you have a separate notebook, you can do that. Do this, what we're about to do, in your notebook as well. All right, so let's convert 1984 to Roman numerals. So 1,984. It's helpful to read the number using place value. So instead of saying 1984, that's the way that we would maybe read it just in everyday English language. Read it according to the thousands, the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. So 1,984. Because in that way, we're thinking about these Roman numeral values that we have. So we have 1,000, so 1 m milli. So I'm going to say 1,000 plus 9 hundredths plus 80 plus 4. Now I want to think about how to represent each of those using Roman numerals. So 1,000, well, that's an M. That's an M. 900. Now 900 we can write in a few different ways. 900 could be C, 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 C. So we could write C 9 times, but is 100 the largest of our units here? When we look at our units, is 100 the largest number that will go into 900? No, we can break 900 down using a 500. So instead of writing 900 as C, 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 we could write 900 as 500, so that's a D. So we could take those first 5 C's and make that a D, that's 500, and then C, 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 C. Okay, so that's a little bit better. We want to use as few Roman numerals as possible. But this is not even as simple as we can write it, because look, we've got 4 C's in a row. Remember that subtraction rule? Instead of writing D, C, 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 we can say 900 is just 100 less than 1,000. So we could say it's 1,000 minus 100. So CM. If you see a number is close to the next number by just 1 unit, then you can use that subtraction rule. So you don't have to break it down like we did here. I just did that for explanation's sake to show you why it would be simpler to write CM. If you look at 900 and you're like, oh, that's pretty close to 1,000. It's just 1 unit of 100 less than 1,000. Go ahead and use the subtraction rule, CM. All right, what about 80? All right, we don't want to write 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. We don't want to write 10 8 times. What's the largest of these units that will go into 80? 50. So we're going to use the 50. So that's 50, and then we need 30 more to get 80, so that's 3 tens. So 50, that's L, and then 3 tens. X, 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 X. Oh, I did 4 tens. Okay. Why couldn't you just say 100 minus 20? Because the subtraction rule works with 1 unit before the larger unit. Okay, so you couldn't say XXC. Okay, that is not allowed. It's just 1 smaller unit before the larger unit. All right, and finally the 4. Now 4 is one of those 4 unit situations. So instead of saying 1, 1, 1, 1 or I, we can say 4 is 1 less than 5. So I and then V. And so 1,984 is MCMLXXXIV. That's our answer. All right, let's do another one. So how about, let's convert going the other way now. Let's convert MMIV to ordinary numbers. MMIV. So first, we'll start from left to right. M and M both represent 1,000, so that's 1,000 plus 1,000. Now we go to the next number here, and we have an I, and that's right before a V. Now I is 1 and V is 5. So now we have this inverted order here where the smaller number is just before the larger number. So this is a subtraction. So we'll skip the I and go to the next number, which is a 5, and 1 less than 5 is 4. So when you see a construction like that, where the smaller number is before the larger number, you're going to look at those two together and do the subtraction in order to find the answer. And so 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 4 is 2,004, and you're allowed to use your calculator there. All right, so you can practice these. You can Google Roman numeral conversions and just practice going in either direction. I'm going to stop the video here so it doesn't get too long, and when I come back, part B, we'll talk about the metric system. And we have a really nice mnemonic device to help remember the metric system and how to convert between the different units.